1, 2. So this should just be for the web playback, guys. The web broadcast. 1, 2. Should be hearing my microphone right now.
I'm just going to go start. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Mopar booth, SEMA 2018. We're glad to have you here. Got a couple friends with me, and that's why you're here, right? You want to see our friends from Graveyard Carz, and another friend of mine, and a friend of Mopar, former Formula Drift guy and host of Hot Rod Garage, Tony Angelo, who helped me out because I'm just the parts guy. I'm the Mopar parts manager at Hessel. So I'm not really a celebrity. I'm not a talker guy, but I want to. You didn't come here for me. You came here for these guys. So let me introduce the cast of Graveyard Carz and Mark Warman.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out.
And my good friend Tony Angelo. You may have seen him. If you remember 2 years ago when we did the crate engine introduction, if you watched Hot Rod Garage, he built a super sweet drift Cuda, 1970 Cuda with a 6.4 in it and did some drifting with it. So I figure this is the best way to get everybody up here and talk about what just happened on Tuesday afternoon at 426 when we announced the 1,000 horsepower crate engine. So I want to turn it over to these guys and see their thoughts on crate engines.
Oh, on the crate engine, yeah. Well, let's see. 2 years ago, we put the 392 in the 1971 Barracuda. And then last year, we did the Hell Crate in the Superbird. Did you guys get to see that last year? A beautiful car. Really came out nice. Put a 6-speed Tremec behind it. Now, this year, much to my surprise, if you were here for the reveal, they unveiled the amazing 1,000 horsepower crate engine. Runs on pump gas, is that right?
93 octane, yep.
It's crazy. Anyway, they gave that to me, so now the pressure's on me to come up with something. I have a couple ideas, but don't know exactly what I want to do. But I do have an inkling. I'm just not ready to announce it yet. Not even sure I will. It may be a surprise for next year's SEMA. But I love them. I think they're an amazing thing. We're actually opening up another section of our company to doing what we did with the Superbird and what we did with the Cuda, which is to keep the cars original from the outside. These would be tribute cars. You know, they wouldn't be, you wouldn't take a Hemi Cuda and put a late model crate engine in it. But you could take a 318 or something like that, an original 383 two-barrel car, or, you know, something that doesn't have the value, and that would be a great car to convert over to a modern-day version. If Mopar were to build it today, that's what it would look like. So, yeah, you've opened up a whole new avenue of revenue for me, frankly, to be honest with me. Oh, Roy?
Tony, me and Tony were talking yesterday about some future projects.
I think what you guys did is it's insane, right? I love the way Dodge does stuff. It's not 900 horsepower, it's not 950. It's 4 digits, it's 1,000 horsepower, right? It's insane that you did that. You know, it's the same mentality behind the Demon, right? Like, it's a 9-second street car. It's something you couldn't fathom a couple years ago, and you guys are putting it out, and it's always shock and awe, and I love it. It's, you know, super over the top. That's sort of how we build our cars. You guys build works of art. We build kind of down and dirty, grimy, purpose-driven, fun stuff. And I just love the way that Dodge gets it done. So I think the idea that you can go out and buy a 1,000 horsepower crate motor and drop it in anything,
absolutely
plug
crazy,
and play, is unbelievable.
I was saying yesterday, that's the horsepower of Pro Stocks when we were kids. I mean, that's craziness. They're building cars that go faster than Pro Stock cars did
it's unreal.
when I was growing up.
You know, so I'm probably a little bit younger than you, but growing up, we were like, oh, the new Camaro has 300 horsepower. You know, back when Dodge didn't make muscle cars for those dark gauges.
What year were you born? Where Camaro had 300 horse, was it?
No, not when I was born. When I was a teenager.
Okay.
We were like, the new Camaro has 300 horsepower. That's so insane. We're like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then, of course, how many years later, we're looking at 700, 800 horsepower Dodges rumbling around the street. It's unreal.
Royal Yoakum, what are your thoughts on the crate engines, if you don't mind sharing with everybody?
Well, I think they're great because you can put them in anything.
Now, that is true. What would you put them in? If I gave you one, I'll never do that, but if I gave you one, what would you put it in?
Probably my Coronet.
Hoop box green 67 RT. Nobody cares.
It's a G1.
That
Royal's
sounds cool to
always
me,
been
man.
straight.
That's pretty rad.
His favorite car of all time was a 64 Barracuda.
No, it was a 67.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
That's a little cooler. That's a little bit better. But the
a
point
little
of the
bit
crate
better.
engine, right, is that you can stick them in literally anything. Especially if you put this motor into literally any car, it would become pretty fun to drive, right? It could be a motorhome, and I would put that in there, and it would be pretty rowdy and awesome. So it's just an instant, fun solution to whatever you want to do with your car.
I'm really hoping somebody, I can't do it because I'm a Dodge guy, but part of the Mopar adopted family is AMC. I would love to see a tribute Rambler Scrambler with something like that
That'd
under
be
the
super
hood.
cool.
That would be cool.
I think it begs actually for a AMC Eagle. That was my vision.
Are you the moderator?
The Screaming Eagle. Yeah. The thing about it, Screaming Eagle, maximum freedom, right there.
Will, what do you think about those? You're pretty knowledgeable on the crate engine stuff. Second best painter in the world.
What's that?
I said you're one of the best painters in the
I
world.
thought you said second. I like working on them. It seems pretty easy. I have nothing to do with that part of the shop.
That's so weird because when we're at all these signings, you're taking credit for the cars.
I haven't taken credit for anything.
Take credit for everything. I saw you on Fremont Street.
Not exactly.
Will drank a little too much, so.
That happened. I mean, it's Vegas, right? You got to go out and get after it once in a while.
And it was Halloween, right? I mean,
Halloween on Fremont Street.
yeah.
Alyssa, any comments on the crate engines you'd like to share? Of the crate engine cars that we've done, the Cuda and the Hellbird, the Superbird, which one of those are your favorites?
I like them both. I mean,
Which
yeah.
one do you like better?
Well, I'm just hoping you let me drive the little dead wagon when we get back, and
yeah.
then I can decide.
That's going to happen. Right. No, that won't happen.
You know where
it's a
the keys
death
are.
trap.
So tell us a little more about the little dead wagon. So it's a Gen 2 Hemi, 426, right?
Yeah.
Sec 4.
It's a 1964 Dodge A100 pickup that we got one of the last Mopar Performance Gen 2 blocks that was out there.
Sorry, guys. That's a true story.
They're coming back though, right?
We're working on it.
Okay. That's yes, I agree completely. And then we sent the engine off to Ray Barton and said we want it to run on pump gas. It's so ironic. I did not know about the 1,000 horsepower engine. I certainly didn't know what was going to happen, what was underneath that drape over it. But what I'm getting at is that one, Ray Barton built, incredibly powerful engines, 923 horsepower on pump gas. I was pretty impressed with that. You guys put together a crate engine that beats it with
You know how
1,000
hard it was.
horsepower.
So we had conversations
sure.
with Mark leading up to SEMA, and we were kind of like, well, we want to give you something. It's brake rotors and pads. We can't really tell you what we're doing. And, meantime, we're snickering and laughing because he's touting this 925 horsepower Gen 2 engine.
Well, it's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, it's got a Mopar torque flight transmission out of a motorhome behind it that we sent out to Monster Transmission. Had it built so it could handle the 923 horse. What we took was the original. These are unibody vehicles, so the frame rail and the body's all one thing. We just modified, cut out a little bit of the rear body section, certainly the floor of the truck, and then we put in 2x3 and 2x2 box tubing and reinforced it. We just did old dragster stuff, something Bill Maverick would do. Not anything like, everything's period correct on it. There's no suspension, there's no drive shaft, there's no room for a drive shaft, so it's just yoke to yoke. And yeah, it's basically a dragster in a little Dodge A100 body. So, but it's a lot of fun. The fuel pump, unfortunately, quit working on it, and so we weren't able to make the red carpet on Monday night.
Yeah, we were all pretty bummed about that.
Yeah, I was bummed about that. But anyway, pretty cool rig.
So when you get in that kind of horsepower, like I'll turn over to Tony because Tony knows. He had to fab up a ton of stuff on your Drift Cuda you built.
Yeah, well, we're running the 6.4 392 crate motor, which is 485 horse, and that thing is awesome. And again, the fact that I can buy it, plug it in, the wiring is super, any doofus can wire it up. It's like power and fuel pump and fan output. It's super easy. But yeah, so for me, having a pro drift background and stunt drift background, I wanted to take an old muscle car and basically make it a real capable drift car. Because I've seen dudes do them, but no one's ever made one where I'm like, that would really work. So we did a ton of fab on the car. I hand built a 3-link for the rear, and in the front end, we converted it over to coilover. We used everything's based off QA1, the front subframe, but I put a rack pinion into it that we made fit, and then modified the knuckles for a ton of angle, and really made the car work. But it's a lot of work, and when you start putting 500 horsepower into anything, especially a lot of these old cars, unibody cars, you gotta brace them up for sure. So there's a lot of extra metal in there.
You're really soft selling it. I mean, there's a whole episode of you on Hot Rod Garage actually making control arms.
Yeah,
Just to get the
I
drift
handmade
angle
everything.
right. I mean, it was wild. So
yeah, and it's cool. Like once you learn, because basically being a pro drifter means you don't make any money. So we just learned how to do everything ourselves, and I learned suspension geometry, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I designed the 3-link, I modeled it all, and made sure it all would have the right anti-squat and all that stuff.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. It worked out great though.
I mean, what's next? I mean, when you take 1,000 horsepower and try to put it in a car, do you think one of your customers would come in and say, "Hey, Mark, I gotta have that"? Then what happens?
I have about 10 texts already from people that were building those tribute cars that want to know about that. I don't even have mine yet. So, but yeah, I think that's going to be, I mean, what can you say? It's 1,000 horsepower plug and play, and you can just pick up a phone and order it. I sent my engine out to one of the best engine builders in the world. Cost a lot of money, got it back, and it's 923. So, yeah, I can foresee this next year, once those are actually available, at least a couple of cars getting them, besides our very special SEMA car we'll build for next year.
So when you take one of the old Mopar unibody cars, I mean, what kind of torsion's going through the body when you put that much torque through it?
Yeah, I don't care about all that. I just put them in stock. I don't care. Yeah, I don't like all that. I know what you're saying. It'll twist the hell out of them, but I think that's cool. If you could see a car going down the road on 3 wheels.
That's fun too, I guess.
Twist that back end. That's awesome. That means you got something under the hood. Just have some fun with it. I don't like modifying bodies. Wrong answer.
When
I was just curious. I talked to some builders. We've got a mule car that we drive around, a '67 Belvedere. It's got a Hellcat in it and a Trimix 6-speed. And yes, even at the Hellcat's power level, it's taking the front end every time you get on it. You watch the front end come up.
Do you have any idea when they're going to be available to the general public?
So yeah, we're planning on first quarter. We want to have them available by March. That's our intent. We're working really hard. we've got a lot of things where it's a small group of guys, really dedicated group of guys, really good. And we're just chugging through it right now. We're working on some of the Cal stuff and some of the long lead parts to get, because it is special. It is a totally Mopar effort. The other engines, we literally take them out of the Challenger Charger platforms, right out of the plant, and we put the crate kit with them and then sell them. This one is built, from us. Yeah. We're working on through it. March will probably be about when we're ready, parts, engines ready to go. The Cal is especially the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to drive this thing, right?
Of course.
And on pump gas, so that's the whole key. Like you said, any doofus, you should be able to get in there, just crank the key, and you can go down the road.
So can you talk just a little bit about the special block construction and the supercharger and all that stuff you guys had to go through to hit that 1,000 horsepower?
So if you guys weren't here for the the reveal and the spiel on the whole engine, so our partner IHI, who makes the Demon and the Hellcat blower right now, it's on a Hellcat 2.4 liter, Demon's 2.7 liter. They worked with us to grow this thing into a 3 liter high efficiency blower in the same housing. So it literally, that blower, if you're a Hellcat owner or a Demon owner, you can take it and drop it right onto your existing block that you have. So it's an upgrade right away. They also worked on opening up the geometry on the inlet snout, so it breathes better, and it's capable now of having a 105 millimeter throttle body on it versus the stock 92 millimeter. So if you really want to put some gas in that thing, it'll suck the air to equal the gas, and it'll go. The block construction, you guys saw Leah Pritchett's car over there. That's right, we beat Chevrolet and Ford this year in factory stock.
Awesome.
I won't take all the credit for it. Our SRT Motorsports guys are awesome, but they've been working behind the scenes the last 2 years to develop the aluminum block that kind of gave them the platform to go after it with the factory stock effort. We have adopted that and used it as a street block for ours. So it's a direct replacement aluminum block assembly, but it's stronger than the previous one we used, which was 6.1 based. So we were struggling with the drag pack program. We couldn't get over 800 in the existing block, and these guys they got it done. They built this block that can handle the horsepower. I think we're 1,400 horse, something like that in our drag pack cars. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's 110 pounds lighter than the cast iron block. So if anyone just wants a street swap even to lighten up the front end of the car, we have the block for it.
I wonder if the designers back in the day that was breaking all the molds like you guys are today felt the same way. Like, this is it. Ain't nobody going to beat the super stock 68 Dodge Dart. This is bad. I just wonder if they all felt the exact same way, and every generation does. But, I mean, look where we're at. I mean, this is more than double the horsepower of that car, and that car was a 9-second car off the showroom floor. I mean, it's crazy.
It's really
but
wild.
Only Mopar. I mean, I know there's some unique Fords and Chevys that do have some very one-off cars, but, I mean, for you guys, it's a way of life.
Yeah, I mean,
which is why I love my Mopar.
We're always the underdog, right? We're scrapping and trying to beat everybody else.
I invented the saying "Mopar or no car," so tell Pietro that.
Well, he's in Europe now, so
he's not in the building,
okay.
is he?
No,
okay.
he's already back in, I think, Europe. So you're good.
I ain't never gonna die. Royal, come on, you're being quiet.
I'm always quiet.
Tell us about your Mopar. People want to hear about your car, your poo box.
Nobody wants to hear about my car.
67 Coronet. I did the body and paint on it.
It's G green, not F green, but
how does the body and paint look?
perfect.
Will, tell us about your Mopar.
I don't have one.
Well, you most certainly do, sir.
A 2006 Chrysler 300.
Chrysler 300. Very nice.
Just waiting for that motor.
No.
You just bolt right in. You do know that? You just bolt it right in.
That'd be a perfect engine for your car,
Just
right
waiting for it,
there.
buddy.
Well, not that one. That's mine, but one like it. Alyssa, tell everybody about your Mopar.
I drive a 2014 Dodge Charger
RT or SXT or SE?
SXT.
Very nice. V6, automatic.
Yep.
Kind of gas mileage you get out of that little bad boy?
Only 17 right now.
You got to calm
Your
down.
foot would have to be to the wood an awful lot to get 17 out of a V6.
She drives like her dad.
And Tony, you're a Mopar guy.
Yeah, well, my first car, so when I was growing up as a kid, I was muscle car crazy. I grew up reading Hot Rod as like a 13, 14-year-old. Started working in a tire shop full-time in the summers when I was 14 and 15, and I bought my first car, 71 Dodge Demon, 344 speed car, and still have it. Ripped that around high school, had a blast, spent a lot of time working on it.
What color was it, Tony?
It's green go, but it should be the dark green car, but it's been repainted.
It was original, like an EF8.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all, I mean, you know, I still have it. It's my favorite thing. I've been through probably 50 cars just from racing them, wrecking them, whatever, and it's the one car I'll always have. I just can't. I love it so much.
I'm sorry I sold my first car. I understand. You should never sell that car.
Honestly, I met so many guys, I was 14, 15, who all were like, man, I had this and I sold it and I lost it. And I just could see the remorse in so many dudes' faces. And I was like, I'm going to do my best. Again, pro drifter, sold pretty much everything I owned at one point or another and just held on. That's the one thing I held on to.
By a show of hands, how many people have their high school cars still?
Oh, it's pretty good.
Big crowd here, and 5 people raise their hands. So
that's
trust
insane.
me,
Wow.
hold on to your original car if you can. You'll never be able to get it back. Bro, you were good to sell you the 64 Barracuda. Nobody cared. I scratched a profanity in the fender of a 64 Barracuda when we were little kids, and he had to have it painted.
When I wasn't looking.
Will, go ahead. Let's not have any awkward silence. Tell us about Fremont Street.
Yeah, where'd you guys go last night?
I think half the people were there.
Yeah, Royal.
How many people were on Fremont Street last night?
Yeah, like a billion.
Many more
I think
than
I saw
have their
everybody.
original cars, I see. Yeah, everybody down there got drunk. Tony, you get drunk last night?
Yes, that's affirmative.
Did you get drunk last night?
Absolutely.
I went to a lovely establishment,
the only guy that doesn't
upscale
drink.
place called Hogs and Heifers.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got a punching machine
Hogs
and
and Heifers.
bras hanging from the ceiling, allegedly.
You don't hear that all the time.
But yeah. So how about that crate motor? We can talk about that.
How about that what?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask though, Tony, recently your shop, what was it, flooded, or you hit a hole in the
No,
roof?
well,
or?
so I'm from Philly, and my shop is just outside the city. And just we had the craziest summer of like a month and a half of straight rain, and I got a ton of mold in my Demon, and it bummed me out. But I got it basically taken care of. But I took the car to LA and shot it on Hot Rod Garage, and we sort of revived it. It had been sitting for 20 years. Refreshed the motor. It's still matching numbers, 340 car. Did all new suspension and calipers, made it disc brakes, brake rotors, all that stuff. And it's all crusty. So much. I'm gonna have to go through so much of it. It's just, I haven't seen corrosion like this forever. I was in LA shooting my show, and came back, and it had just molded, and it got so gross. And I know a lot of guys are fighting that stuff on the East Coast and in the Midwest. It's just been a gross year for that stuff.
So when we were working together on the original Crate Engine program, the first time we launched it, the same thing happened at the studio or the shop you were building in LA, right? There was a hole in the roof.
Oh yeah. Well, when I was
And you
building
had
my Cuda, this is the kind of luck I have. We decided a little bit last minute that we were going to build this car. Got it greenlit to be on the show, the whole bit. You guys provided the 6.4 Hemi, which is awesome, and we got a Tremec T56 behind it. And it's Los Angeles. It's beautiful and sunny all the time, right? So we're working. We built that car basically in 6 weeks, in pretty much 24 hours a day, just in there hustling all the time. And the perfect combination of them tearing the roof off of the Motor Trend studios, not tarping it, and then it raining really heavily one night. Basically, any raw metal got corroded and crusty and awful. We had to strip and powder coat everything. I was in the middle of building control arms. The rear end was raw. All that stuff got annihilated. It was we were already fighting the clock so hard. At that point, Motor Trend was like, what do you need to get it done? And we brought in a couple more of my buddies and just full-timed it for an extra couple of weeks. Because there's no way me and Lucky were going to get that one done by ourselves.
I remember you giving me the call, dude, the
Yeah.
PCM was face up.
Yeah, hey man, exactly. The PCM got reined in. So that was a bummer. And I was like, please can we get another one out here? But yeah, it was a rough one, but it all worked out in the end. And you guys were great with supporting everything. But yeah, you got to watch out for weather. Apparently in
I have
Southern
one quick
California,
question
sometimes
for
it
you.
rains indoors. I didn't know that.
Just real quick. I know this is not your wheelhouse, but I would like to ask, because everybody asked me yesterday, you got your Concept 68 Charger, pretty cool looking rig. So the same question ever since they came out with the 4-door Charger. This is just a personal opinion. Do you think that Dodge will make a 2-door Charger in the future? Just to get your own personal, no inside knowledge. I've already asked everybody.
I saw our lawyer here earlier,
I don't
know
care.
where he is now.
It's a,
I
rules
cannot
are meant to be
comment on
broken.
future product.
It's not a future product. Oh, where is it?
That's the line I'm supposed to tell people.
Uh-huh.
Have I seen things in the
How
studio?
many people would
but-
like to see the Charger return to a two-door? There you go.
And of the people who like to see it, how many will actually buy one?
Come on,
see-
how many
see,
people
how many
buy
of us-
one? No, they didn't hear the question. How many people would buy a Charger if it went back and looked like that 68 right there? There you go. Hell yeah.
I would buy that.
Time will tell. Time will tell. But I guess we're coming to the end of our time here. I'm getting the nod from the side here. Thanks
Lynn's
for coming
giving everybody
here.
the nod.
Thanks for coming and seeing the guys. I think we're going to stick around a little bit, right, afterwards.
The cast is gonna stay around and sign autographs for you guys for a half hour or however long it takes and meet everybody. It's our favorite part of the job, actually. Thank you all for coming out. It's
Yeah,
very
cool.
nice to
Thanks,
see you.
guys.
Yep.
It's been
Give them a
great
big round of
talking to you.
applause, guys. Graveyard Carz, Tony Angelo, good friend of ours. Thank you.